Good evening. The boards at our office in the conference room, they're going to turn on, they're with Krista, they're going to turn that on in just a second. You'll be able to see them. There's 5 board members here and 1 on, Ellie is on the computer.
You're eliminating Juliet.
So is this gonna be a hybrid type of meeting?
Well, yeah, because some of them, yeah, so there's 5 of them that showed up at our office because they're, anyway, this time they're doing it hybrid. Some of the board members on the computer and the rest of them.
Oh, that's fine. It's not an issue. That's actually okay. I was gonna suggest for it to be hybrid for those folks who may not know how to navigate through a virtual meeting. But okay, how you doing?
So we'll hear a roll call of those in your office?
Right, we'll do that. Yeah, we can, but it's almost time to start, so. Yeah.
Okay, and I know that Juliet was on just a second ago, but she never received a notice that you were meeting in your office, because we were talking about if she had heard.
So I sent out the front steps notice, and on that notice, it also says instructions if anybody had trouble or needed assistance to give me a call. So the board of directors these individuals did call me and let me know if it was okay that they could come into the office, and that's what we agreed upon. So if she had any trouble, she could have reached out to me as well.
It's my
So
understanding.
it is 7 o'clock, so let's go ahead and, let's see, before we put the agenda up, I think it'd be good for the board members to, each one of them state their names so that those that are on the meeting can know which board members are all here. So those around the table, would y'all state your name for the record?
Oh, Alex.
Graciela.
Giovanni. Porfirio.
And I'm also here, Krista.
Okay, so 4 of them are there, and then we've got, Elia is muted, she's on the screen, you see her?
Hello.
And-
How are you? Elia Chino.
Hello.
And then, and who else do we have, Krista?
Juliet, she's also on Zoom.
Right, Juliet, yeah, she's, yeah, say hello, Juliet, so we hear you. Is your audio working?
I'm not sure. Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's working, okay. So we have more than a quorum, and we needed 5, so we've got our quorum. So, Krista, let's go ahead and put the, let you put the agenda up. Well, you already have access to do that, okay. So thank you all for attending the meeting. This will be our first Zoom, actually hybrid meeting, which meeting part in person and part over Zoom. So this is the March 11th board meeting for Belmont Park Association. So we're called to order, and we just, I'm being redundant here now. Roll call, we've already established, as we just went through it, we have 5 board members present. And board members, so as we make motions and seconds, be sure and state your name for the record so those that are on Zoom can know who's making the motion or a second. So we need a motion to adopt the agenda. Could we get that, please?
Alex makes a motion to adopt the agenda. Who seconds? Graciela, all in favor?
Yes.
So,
So it's unanimous.
okay, next, the rules of the meeting. This is just simple, without reading all that, I just want to say, if those of you that are not on the board, if you'd hold your comments and concerns till we get to the, scroll down so they can see it's on there. The new business is, open forum is Roman numeral 10. That's where owners will be able to have their opportunity to talk at that time. So if we all observe those rules, we'll get through the meeting a lot more efficiently. Thank you. Next is the minutes from the last meeting on September 11th, and could you display those, please, Krista? So here they are, and you see we had 100% of the board was present. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but it was called to order at 7 o'clock. We gave the financial report. I gave the financial reports. there was unfinished business going on. Let me see if there were any motions. We talked about the pool and different things. Scroll down to new business. We presented the budget, and Chris, what do
I'm
you?
trying. Here we
There's something
go.
going on there with the computer. And we presented the budget, and at that time, they ended up passing the budget with a 3% increase. So then we had open forum and discussion. Board members, did you have any edits to these minutes, or did they look accurate? So, Chris, I'm not sure if we can hear them, because you need to tell us if they're making a motion or a second.
No, they're still reviewing them. Give them a.
Okay, that's fine.
What happened to the November 6th minutes and that meeting?
That's an annual meeting.
So there should be minutes and notations, shouldn't there, Randy?
There's minutes at the annual meeting presented at the annual meeting.
No, I'm talking about the voting and officers and the election, and that should be a minute. Those
So
should
you
be
make the
minutes.
motion? Graciela, second.
Randy, don't you think that that's correct?
Marty, all in
Well,
favor?
we can talk about that more in the open session. What we usually do is present those to the board within the first month or so after the meeting, so they can just look them over for accuracy, and then they're presented at the next annual meeting for official approval. But the officers were just decided, so that'll be announced in this meeting here tonight. They've just decided that. So next, let's see, okay, ratifications, the fine policy, so that was, the fine policy was approved between meetings, is that right, Krista?
Yes.
So we need a motion from one of the board members to ratify that, decision into these minutes here tonight.
Graciela, second. Alex, all in favor?
Yes.
You
Okay,
can't
we'll be
see.
posting that on front steps.
Okay, very well, thank you. Next, we have the financials for,
This is Ida. I'm sorry if I bothered you. I'm calling from April Park residence.
What?
Can you guys mute yourself, please?
yeah,
You call it.
I'll muted that one, okay. So next we have the financials. So board members, there's a lot of financials here on the screen to talk about, but we have September through December, and then the January and the February. So how many of these financials do you want to go over in detail? Do you want to go over December and then February, or how do y'all want to do it? It's up to you.
Yes, they want to go over December and February.
Okay, well, let's put up December first, because that'll be the end of the quarter and the full year of 2024. So on the screen, everyone can see, or I'll read them off. The key numbers in the current assets, we have two accounts that add up to $19,817 and change. I don't read the pennies. Reserves, we have two accounts that add up to $59,512. So between those two accounts, that's approximately $80,000 in cash with all the cash accounts. Accounts receivable for the property is $112,514, and we're continuing to whittle that down of accounts receivable through the collection process. Let's go to the next section. Well, let's see, stop at reserves. So this is important because we used up a lot of reserves in the year 2024. We started the year on January 1 of 2024 with $154,517. During the year, $14,916 was added to reserves. Reserve transfers, in other words, we put $69,393 additional money from the reserve account, the checking account into the reserve account. And then we're trying to get the books more accurate to not have so much, not really accurate. We're obviously accuracy is important, but we were just trying to put more of the cash money into the reserves to make it earn more interest. Interest income was earned of $2,531. And then this is the big one, the capital expenditures was spent $181,845. That left $59,512. So as a reminder, we started the year with 154,000, ending the year with 59,000. So that's a lot of improvements in 1 year. So, okay, let's go to the next page, to the income statement, income and expenses. So since this is the full year, we're gonna go over the month and the year to date. So this is the month of December. I'm gonna go over the top line first and then the totals on each section. With assessments, we took in 52,038 for the month of December, better than budget by 5,402. And year to date, we took in 601,383. And compared to budget, that's better than budget by 41,751. Back over to the left side, the total income for the month, including everything, 43,757. Compared to budget, it's under collected by 2,878. And well, the reason why I'm showing that is because the insurance from Hurricane Beryl, some of the insurance money was used. 8,893 of insurance money was used. So we have that one account for insurance. Money goes in that account and money goes out of that account. So after that money was spent, the insurance money year to date, it was zeroed out. Next is the year to date of income of everything is 611,710 compared to budget, better than budget by 52,078. Next, expenses, administrative for the month, we spent 8369 compared to budget. It's over budget by 4,401, and the main reason is legal. That part of the legal is 4,469 over budget, and that's for legal collections. And then, and when we do legal collection work, all that money is billed back to the homeowner's accounts. Where that other account called legal corporate that's different. That's legal advice to the board. The total expenses on administrative year to date is 84,826. Compared to budget is over budget by 37,210. And there's 3 accounts that are pushing it over the most. The audit, because there's multiple years of audits still being worked on, 11,550 over budget because 15,150 was spent during the year. Those audits are still in progress. Legal, over budget by 15,358, and it's only natural because there's so much money that was outstanding. There's people in collections. And then legal corporate, that's for legal advice, and 10,134 was spent and nothing was budgeted for that. Let's go down to utilities. For the month, 19,480 was spent under budget by 4694, and year to date, 231,800, and nicely under budget by 58,299. The largest under budget is the water and sewer, which is under budget by 56,432. Let's scroll down further. We have the contracts. For the month, we spent 6,161 over budget by $215. And year to date, really close to budget, 70,754, under budget 597. Maintenance for the month, 6,536, under budget by 3,540. Year to date, we spent $134,095, over budget by 13,171, and there's 4 accounts that are over budget the most. I'll just go over those, and all the other accounts are under budget. So we're over budget on building maintenance by 11,667 because there wasn't actually, that's kind of a miscellaneous category because there was nothing budgeted to that category. And then we're also over budget on landscape extras by 10,849, and I think a lot of that had to do with the Hurricane Beryl and cutting trees, stuff like that. And then maintenance payroll was over budget by 8,366. And supplies, there wasn't a supply category last time, but so that's over budget by 12,310. And tree trimming, we have another category there for tree trimming by itself. So, and that's over budget by 25,996. So those are the over budget items attributing to being over budget. Insurance for the month, 932, over budget, just $32. And year-to-date, we spent $10,975, over budget by $175, very close to budget. Taxes, nothing spent for the month with a budget of $327 and $509 spent year-to-date, under budget by $3,414. Reserves, we put aside, for the month, can you scroll down to the next page to get the totals? Okay, hold it there. We spent, not spent, but we put aside into reserves 6,243. 5,000 of that was, extra, not budgeted. And then, which that's good when we can save extra money. And then year to date, we put aside into reserve 79,916, and $65,000 of that was extra from the savings. And then the total, the second to last line item, the total expenses including reserve funding, 47,723 for the month, over budget by 1,087, and year to date 612,878, over budget by 53,246. But you shouldn't be so concerned about that over budget because we saved an extra 65,000. So that's in the line just above, 2 lines above that. And then the very bottom line for the month, we spent 3,966 more than we took in. And year to date, even after saving that extra 65,000, we ended the year with spending more than we took in by $1,167. So pretty close to break even when you're talking about $600,000 of expenses. So board members, any questions on that? If not, do we get a motion to approve the December report? And we'll go to the next.
Graciana made the motion. We have a second. Alex, all in favor? Aye, okay.
So they approved it? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Let's go to the February. In February, I'll bring us up to date.
Excuse me, I was trying to unmute and say I had a question, but she was giving a total.
Well, we can still come back to your question. What's your question?
The question where you were saying the money, the $20,000 for the insurance went into the chase, or it did not go into the chase? If I recall, Priscilla said that money went into chase. It seemed like you said so much of it went into a chase and something else. Seemed like you said something different.
No, we'll go back to the reserves. I was talking about but then we'll go up to the insurance category. The insurance category is on page, on income statement.
The $20,000 we got for the insurance, the whatever
We
that.
haven't even went over that because we just received that check this month, right?
No,
The check.
But I still remember at the meeting, Priscilla said that money had gone into Chase.
No, we just received that check like a week ago.
no.
Oh,
Yeah, this is the financial right here is last year's financial, not, so we get, the other stuff is gonna be on this year's financial, but if it came in last week, it's not gonna be on the financials at all.
The check for the $20,000 didn't come in last week because it was in when we had the meeting. And I remember Priscilla said it went into Chase.
Well, we've had multiple insurance claims. The one where the vehicle hit the side of the building, is that the one you're talking about?
I know, so we got the
Hurricane
20,000.
Beryl.
What?
Hurricane Beryl?
Yes, she just said that, yeah, when we got the $20,000 insurance, she said it went into Chase.
Yes, she just said it did go into Chase.
But I thought Randall had said something else.
And I didn't comment on where that money went.
Okay, there was 22,000 and there's only 8,900 that's been spent, so where's the balance?
Because that money were transferred to First Citizen to pay work that we done due to Hurricane Beryl.
What do you mean?
Maybe it's on the November report. Maybe you should pull up the income statement for November for a second and we can see if it's on that one.
Yeah, but then we need to see the paperwork stuff.
Go up to the income section on the, no, up, not down, up. Well, no, down more to the income statement. Right there, we brought in a net of that in November, we brought in a net of 14,953. There could have been some come in and some went out. At the end of that month, there was $8,893 left, and then that was used up in December.
Well, does it show anywhere where the insurance money went?
No, I think that, I remember that Caroline said that she needed to rebook and redo October finances due to that checking, due to that deposit, and we don't have October here. The new October finance.
Yeah,
So,
we'll get back.
So that will be-
October banking has nothing to do with the 22,000. Where did the $22,000 get deposited? Was it
Right.
Chase or was it Randall's account?
No, they did, y'all transferred the barrel into the Chase account, and with that money from, that they transferred that they deposited into Chase, they also transferred over a certain amount to go to First Citizens to pay for projects that they had already, that they needed to do due to barrel.
But
So are
Chris,
we
let me
talking about the $20,000?
Yes,
Insurance?
yes.
So it
Yes,
went
yes.
into Chase?
Let me explain how you get the answer to that. All we do is print out the 42070 account year to date. It'll show what went in and everything that's come in and out of that account. Right here, this is just showing us the totals, the net,
Okay,
because that account is used for in and out. That's how it works on that particular.
Well, I understand
Will we
that,
get
but
the
we're just trying to find out the funds that were, the check that was sent from the insurance company for 22,000 plus, where was that money deposited? Was it deposited in Chase?
Yes.
Okay, can we get financial statements of this stuff?
Yes, I'm gonna post them on the website on Front Steps.
Okay.
So when
Okay,
you go to February financials.
Okay.
okay, so this is the balance sheet for February 28th of 25. So the three current asset accounts add up to 34,347, and the two reserve accounts add up to 60,587. And the accounts receivable balances are at that point 116,995. And let's go down now to the reserve section. The reserves, we started the year with 59,512. We added to the reserves $7,172. We earned interest of $3 and change, and we've used capital expenditures of $6,100, leaving $60,587 and 48 cents. And if you'd roll up, Krista, 60,587, they'll be able to see it. There it is, 60,587.48. Balances to the penny the way it's supposed to. Next, we'll go to the income statement for February. So this is the first 2 months of the year, January and February. Scroll up to the top of that report, page 2. Oops, it sounded like, it looks like you got a page out of order or something. Scroll down, you're missing page 1 of the income statement. Scroll down again, maybe you just put page 1 and 2 backwards. There's page 1, let's go over it. Okay, yeah, they're just scanned in the wrong order. Okay, so this is the income for the month of February. We took in assessments 50,587, more than budget by 2527, and year to date we're 97,832. We're ahead by 1,712. And back over the left side, showing the total income for the whole month, counting everything, 62,021, and there's another insurance money that came in for the gate, 10,120. The net amount is on the books right there. And then so we're ahead for the month by 13,961, mainly because of that extra $10,000 from the gate. And then year to date, 112,417, ahead by 16,297. Let's scroll down to the administrative expenses. Let's go up just a few lines because you went too far. Okay, there it is. For the month, $7,385 spent, over budget by $2,364. mainly due to legal carpet, which is over budget by $2,500. Then year-to-date, 14,167, over budget by 4,125. And the main two over budgets are legal for collections by 32, and corporate legal over budget year-to-date by $2,000. Utilities, for the month, we spent 18,736, under budget by 1,575, and year-to-date, 35,770, under budget by 4,853. And the one that's under budget the most is the water bill, so we're doing quite well on the water bill this year, 4,800, and almost $5,000 under budget after 2 months. Contracts, we spent 18,736 for the month, under budget by 1,575, and year-to-date, 35,770, under budget by almost $4,853.
Okay, he's out looking.
I just went over water now. Okay, you
Okay.
bounced around on me. Okay, contracts, we spent a total, well,
Just to bring up real quick.
Number was scanned wrong, so
oh, no, this is the contracts, okay, yeah. 6,183 for the month spent on contracts, and that's over budget by 343, and year-to-date, 12,345, over budget by $665. And next, we have the maintenance section. Scroll down a couple more lines. We spent 15,116, over budget by 2,826, and year-to-date, we spent 28,431, over budget by 3,851. Insurance, 932 for the month, over budget by $32. Year-to-date, 1,864, over budget by $64. Taxes and other fees, scroll down. Nothing spent for the month, nothing spent year-to-date. Reserves, we put aside for the month 3,586, the budgeted amount, and year-to-date, the budgeted amount fully funded $7,172. Scrolling down further. Next page. We'll just go to the last page. I may have gotten out of order when you scanned it. There it is. So the last page, we spent for the month, 51,940, over budget by $3,880, and year-to-date, 99,751, over budget by 3,631. So for the month, we had a positive cash flow of 10,080, mainly due to that extra money that came in from the insurance. And year-to-date, we have a positive cash flow of 12,665. Board members, any questions on that? If not, we need a motion for approval of that one. February.
Marcella, Alex, Jamal,
Okay,
we have a motion to accept the February financials.
yes.
Okay, we have a motion by Alex, second, Graciela, all in favor? Okay.
Okay, is Julia, it'd be good if you'd also vote, raise your hand or say something.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Okay, great, all right. Very well, so that passes unanimous as well. Okay, now we're on to, let's see, Board of Directors report updates. So Krista, who's reporting there on item B?
Do y'all have any updates? Work orders? Okay, so no, they don't have any updates other than, the Hurricane Barrel, we went over that check. And they're still waiting for the permit for the turnaround.
Yes.
And the clubhouse, we're not able to use the clubhouse due to, some permits. Some permits to, occupy the clubhouse.
Oh, okay, occupancy term, okay. All right, next is unfinished business. And, Krista, why don't you just handle who's supposed to go over which of these items, A, B, C, D, you handle this part of the meeting.
Pedestrian gate, as I just said, we're still waiting for permits, so that remains open. As soon as we get the permits and everything and we can close the entrance gates, we'll check on, remotes and all of that, or codes to get into the gate. Pool updates is,
The pool is just ready to use.
okay,
Yeah.
so pool is ready to use when, I guess the season starts.
Yeah.
And then for front steps, we encourage all owners to sign into front steps. This is the way you get your meeting notices. This is the way that we announce emergency items. For example, today the city of Houston turned off the water and we were unaware, so I did post that on front steps. You can view minutes, financials, any type of documents that deals with your association. You can also view that on front step.
First of all, could you remind them again, how do they go about joining it? Did they need to request an email from you, or what do we do for them?
Yes, I also put that on front steps. There's a form in English and Spanish to fill out and to send it back to me.
But if they don't have front steps yet, they can't see it, so.
Yes, so I can email it to you. If you send me an email that you don't have front steps, I can email you that form so we can get you registered.
Water's back on.
Okay, good.
It's an easy process. It's not hard.
Maybe we should, put the instructions on something and laminate it and put it out there it's a bulletin board at the property.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know?
I'm going to.
Okay, the board.
That way people could go and just take a picture of that with their phone and camera, and then they could do it when they get back to their house.
Okay.
Okay, so next is Roman numeral 9, new business. The board members have decided their officer positions. So Krista, can you read those positions and titles, the names and titles?
Yes, so the board president is Alex, the vice president is Germani, the treasurer is Graciela, the secretary is Albert.
Can you slow down?
Okay, so the president is Alex, the vice president is Germani, your treasurer is Graciela, your secretary is Albert, landscaping board of director is Elia, your maintenance board of director is Porfirio, and your director at large is Miss Taylor.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next we're gonna go, Roman numeral 10, open forum, and this is the time where each homeowner has approximately 3 minutes. We don't have that huge number here, so if the board wants to relax and let them go 5 minutes, I suppose we could do that. Let me see, how many, let's see, let's take this down so we can see how many people wanna talk to us.
How are you gonna know that somebody has a question, concern, suggestion?
Yeah, well, yeah, how many people want to talk? Could y'all all unmute for a second, just say, so we just know how many people are going to want to talk? Or just raise your hand would be a good idea. 1, 2.
I want to say something.
Okay, so, Francis, you want to go first?
Sure, can everybody hear me?
Sure.
Francis, state your address as well.
83759. My concern is just the lack of, that we don't have electricity or lights under the carport for my building and the building across from me still since the hurricane, but yet all this money is being spent in the storage room with cameras and all these other things that I can care less about. I need electricity under my building carport. I will be submitting some work orders. Do they get submitted via online to you, Krista? Or I'm sorry, if you can repeat that process for me.
Yes, you can send me an email with all the detailed information, and then I pass that on to the maintenance team.
Okay, is there anything else, Francis?
Okay. And my other grievance is the situation. I know that I pay my dues and all of us pay our dues. I don't pay my dues for a board member to get his vehicle, friends' vehicles or family members' vehicle towed, and then he gets reimbursed or the association pays back for their car to give back into the premises. That's not my business. I can care less. If I have to pay for my toll, I don't see why I'm having to also pay for them to get their vehicle back. That makes any sense.
Excuse me?
So we don't do anything with towing. The association doesn't reimburse for towing.
Well, actually, you told Krista, that was you speaking there, you told people that had been reimbursed not to say anything. So I don't know who's being untruthful.
We don't reimburse. The Space City Towing does the reimbursement. We have to go through several, a manager and the owner to get that approved. That's why it depends if the tow was legal or if it was illegal. And if it was an illegal tow, that's the only way that we get the vehicle reimbursed. But Space City, not Randall Management, not Belmont Park.
Okay, well, thanks for clarifying that, Krista.
All right.
Okay, you have about a half a minute left. Did you have anything left, Francis? That's all?
Yes, that's all, Rainbow.
Okay, thank you. So let's go to Alyssa next. You're muted if you could unmute yourself.
Yeah, so I had a question.
Your address, Alyssa, before you start?
8312 Naren.
Okay.
We lived here about a year. When we moved in, we never got, it was before y'all stepped in, we never got like the whole HOA rules or everything. We went to some meetings, asked for them, never did. Anywho, we'll get them eventually. My question is, we did get a notice about a week ago about like a violation for trash. So my question is, what are we supposed to do when our trash gets filled? Because we're a family of 4, we share it with a family of 3. It gets filled super often, and I have videos of my neighbor to my other side throwing trash in our trash can, you know, fairly often. We've seen it. We have cameras pointed straight towards our vehicles. So I was under the assumption that that was fine. We share it with one neighbor, whatever. Why couldn't we do it in the other if it's empty? My question is, what do you want us to do? Because I'm not going to leave trash sitting in my house. My dog will get to it. And I don't want to leave it outside in the patio or on the floor next to the trash can because cats have gotten into our trash bags when we do that and all this stuff. So we're going to get fined for putting it in a trash can to the other side that was not as full. I'm just trying to not get in trouble here, but also not leave trash lying around everywhere.
Will y'all share trash cans with other homes?
Oh, yes.
Oh, not everybody has an individual trash can?
No, we share it with our neighbors to our left. We share
I
one.
was just saying, everybody shares trash cans, so it's not that big of a deal. Some
Yeah,
people only
you
have
can
one
share.
property.
Well, we got a notice from the HOA that somebody.
Yeah, you can put it.
Oh, somebody's being crafty, that's all that is. Sorry.
Oh, absolutely.
The trash can empty about halfway, you cannot do that.
So what, I don't know if you just heard him, he just said, okay, he just said, if your trash can is empty or halfway full, to use your own trash can. Once your trash can is full, then that's when you would use another, trash bin.
Oh, absolutely. We will never throw our trash in somebody else's trash unless ours is overflowing. The family next to us is a family of 3. We have kids, so it gets full pretty quick, but we did get a notice just last week that we were in violation for using somebody else's trash can. And I promise you I will never use it if it's not full. I'm assuming the person whose trash can we used said something, but I just never knew what the rules were. So no, I will never use a trash can if mine is empty. I'll only use it if it's full. Somebody else's.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, well.
There's
that's pretty
there's
much
nothing
your
in the
comment.
violations that even indicate that you get in trouble for using someone else's trash can. Those trash cans have at it and that's how it's been for 20 years.
So is Dorian the next to speak?
Let's see, Monique, did you have anything?
Well, I do have, I'm a little concerned about these insurance checks that are coming in and how they're being distributed. But I would like to sit down with someone at the management company and go over a couple of things with that. Also, you know, Ricardo signed a contract with the tow service. Ricardo's no longer on the board. When the end of the contract is over, then the tow service informed me when they were out here that the contract automatically rolls over to the next year, and we're not bound by the contract. It can be canceled at any given time. But did they renew the contract? And also, I have pictures of the wrecker and some of the other homeowners. These wreckers are coming in here, they're parking, and they're waiting for people to come in, and they're watching people. That's a form of stalking. We did not hire these people to come in here to harass the homeowners.
Right.
And I don't think they should be allowed to come in here and park their trucks and just watch people. That's not their job.
Mm-hmm.
Their job is to come
Exactly.
in here. And are y'all calling the record service out to come and tow cars? Or are they coming in and doing it themselves? Because I've been told that they can come in here anytime they want to. They can jerk a car. Now, let me just tell you, they have towed some cars in here that did have the visitors' passes in them. They were not illegally parked. And the passes were in the vehicles when they got to the tow service, but they denied it. And we have issues with this tow service. They don't own us. They're a service, but they should not be allowed to come in here. And as far as some of the people being reimbursed that were on the board for some of the tows that took place, the management company might have not known about this, but I have proof where there's a couple of board members that did get reimbursed. And they were reimbursed based on intimidation and the contract. And don't frown over there, Graciela, because you know it and I know it, that it took place. So we have an issue with the tow service. We need to get this straightened out.
We do need to get rid of that company, to be honest.
Well, okay, well, thanks for your comments. And as Krista said earlier, the association does not reimburse if there's an improper tow. The way it usually works is they call us, we call the tow company, get all the photos. If it's shown they towed in properly, then they have to bring it back and give the money back, or at least let them pick up their car.
Randy,
There's not been many of those because they do it right most of the time.
I'm going to interrupt you because I agree with what you're saying, okay? But what's happening here is this is practices that has nothing to do with the management company. These are people that are on the board that are using intimidation with the tow service, and they don't want to lose the business over here because they're making money off of this. And they've also raised their prices. Several people that have in the last month that had their cars towed, they had to pay $325 to get their tow, and before they're not paying that. But you know,
More than that.
You go and when you go to pick up your car, they decide how much they're going to charge you. And there is a law in Houston, and there are guidelines. But you see, they feel like you're at their mercy, which you are, because you want your car back.
Well, there's two parts of the fee. There's the tow fee and there's a daily. If you wait a week to go get it, they're going to charge for every day they keep that car impounded in the tow lot.
I'm talking about
But the initial,
their car up within the hour after it was
right.
towed.
The initial fee.
The association doesn't have anything to do with how much the towing company charges you guys. That's the towing company, not us.
Didn't
Yes,
we
but
establish that through a
talked about getting
contract?
rid of that. those.
Well, just to make sure we're getting treated fairly, we can ask them what their tow fee is, and we can ask a couple other tow companies what they charge and make sure they're not gouging anybody.
Houston has rules on that.
Yeah, well, we can double check that, but, okay, well, your time's up. Now we need to go to, Mary and Beverly are the last two on here, so.
What about me?
Beverly, you wanna go first?
What about me? Randy, I'd like to talk to.
Oh, okay, well, I didn't see your hand up earlier, Dorian. You're on the, okay, sure,
And me too.
okay.
Go ahead.
Well, go ahead, Beverly.
Okay,
Yeah.
Beverly McGinnis, 8311 Ariel. The apartment complex behind me and these children that are playing out there in that area, you know that they keep breaking those fence slats.
The little barn.
And they're throwing rocks and bricks and pool balls and everything over the fence. And if something happens to my vehicle, then I'm going to deal with the apartment complex. And this is not my first time that I've spoken to you all about this. You all should send a letter from the attorney, and put these people on notice that if their residents continue throwing items over the fence, they've already broken my bedroom window. Now, they did this a few years back, and I reported that to you all. Okay, now they constantly, every day, those kids are throwing balls over the fence. They throw rocks, they throw bricks, they throw anything they can think of. I have a lot of stuff on top of the carport where I can look down from my bedroom window, and you can see all of this stuff on top of the carport that they've thrown over. My car sits right back there behind that fence. And if it gets damaged any kind of way, I'm going to deal with the apartment complex as well as the association, because I've asked you all in the past to talk to those people or do something about that place over there so that they can stop those kids from throwing things over that fence. And they're breaking the slats. We pay to have those slats replaced every so many months. And you all should charge them for the material and the labor. That's my complaint.
Thank you.
Thank you, you're right.
Okay, thanks. Well, we can certainly send a letter to that property, but this is one of the things I just wanted to bring up. It's a little bit difficult to solve only because we don't have a direct relationship with them. They're basically a neighbor, as you know, on the other side of the fence, and we can't really make them do anything, but we can try. That's about it.
Well, that's true. You can't make them do anything, but you can put them on notice. They're destroying stuff over here. Like I said, they've already broken my window.
Well, with the board's permission, we can either send a letter from Randall Management, or we can send it from the attorney, whatever the board members, do y'all think we should have the attorney send a letter, or just a letter from us?
The attorney.
Okay,
The attorney.
so we'll speak to the
Should we
attorney
hear from our
to
board
prepare the
members?
letter and send it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you,
What is
Beverly.
Should
Okay.
we hear from our board
Thank you.
All
members?
right, then, so the ones I had next were Mary, Dorian, and Juliet. Juliet.
Julie, yeah.
Mary, do you have something? Or maybe not, you're muted, Mary.
No, sir, I'm okay.
Anything
Thank you.
Monique or Mayor?
Oh, okay, well then, Dorian, what do you have?
I have a few things here. One, can you please put together on front strips or whatever, the contact information, phone number, and emails of the board members so the homeowners can reach out when they have issues? Secondly, when you're talking about the pool is something that should be opened except for on major holidays like Christmas and that type of thing. We've never held it or closed it for seasonal things. And by the way, it's been closed for almost a year now. And I understand the clubhouse is not a permitting issue. What it is a repair issue. And that there's multi-issues that need to be repaired in the clubhouse that haven't been done. And the finances, and I don't hear any follow-up on that. And just to reiterate what Francis was talking about, the electrical, that electricity, there's actually images from a video that indicate of a contractor, an electrical contractor designated by certain board members, and those board members, I'm not sure which they are, that actually cut those wires that cut off the electricity, so there's no actual carport lights. And there's already been a major incident where a handicapped person who's in a wheelchair fell and got injured. So this is a liability for the Belmont Park, and it's been damaged since July. So I think that's a long time for us not to have a resolution on that issue. When you talked about the audits, I mean, I heard the audits was 6,000, then 8,000, and now 10,000, and you're saying that they're still not done. What is the reason they're still not done?
So we just had a meeting with the auditors last week. The board members had some questions on items that we couldn't provide because we didn't get all the documents from previous management companies. So a lot of items were missing and they wanted clarification about that. But they are working on the audits still. We got paperwork signed and sent back. So that is still in the works.
So it's still ongoing and
Yeah.
okay, when you have issues that are being accomplished and you've had the board discuss these things, where are the minutes for those things?
This meeting was just last week, so.
Well, there still should be minutes loaded up, and according to Rule 209, minutes and financials need to be uploaded on a monthly basis. That's in pursuant to 209, and I know that when we're talking about checks and that type of thing, why aren't all the insurance checks coming to Randall's management? Why are they going to certain board members?
The checks do get delivered to our office.
No, it's been delivered to one of the persons on the board, and that's not a normal policy. It never was when I was on the board. That's actually not really effective, and it's not correct. And so I'm wondering, why aren't all insurance checks being delivered to Randall's management?
It's not all, Dorian. The very one, for some reason from the central insurance office, came on our name, Belmont Park. I made a mistake because I didn't know to deposit it on the Chase, but I immediately notified them, and for that reason, Karen had been doing all the work, all the rebooking, all the financials, and fixing all the things that were paid from the reserve, the Chase reserve, before depositing that check.
So, in other words, you're telling me that there's a modification that we can expect to see in front steps of the financials? And are we ever going to get a true breakdown of what is actually, instead of just maintenance or insurance, are we ever going to see a breakdown of those, maintenance? Okay, we repaired 3 homes, we put a roof over here, we put new, we've got $12,000 that was just spent on putting in mulch. We just had contractors go into the clubhouse. We just had brand new cameras put up. We don't see any of that information. It's just a blanket of costs.
Okay, we'll try to wrap up because you're at 5 minutes, really, so.
Can you answer me that question?
Well, it's more work. We can do that. I was hoping that the secretary, Alberto Onofre, should have put in that in the newsletter that we are still waiting.
Who is the secretary?
Albert.
Onofre, Alberto Onofre is the secretary.
Is that the
Okay,
same
but who
person?
wrote the newsletter?
Well, I was told to write the newsletter because he hadn't put together a newsletter.
He hadn't written any. Okay, so that's what I was wondering about. And to adhere to that, I would like to suggest that all of our positions or whatever, that we have at least two
It's
people,
muted.
you
Can
know,
we hear
like,
from our
whoever's
president and
on
vice
this position.
president?
So it kind of be a check and like, say, in secretary, two people, financial, two people. So it's not just one person. So maybe we,
Can work with
that can be a little
with
more common.
management, because they are the one booking everything.
Excuse me?
That you can check with Randall Management, the person who is in charge with that. And
But
work
he's
with
not
them.
they're not the one that, select the members who's running, like the board members, the financial people. We do that.
What? So every
No, I'm
board
saying that
member
we
gets
have two people serving on these positions, so it can be a check and balance.
So if you're talking about like financials, all the board of directors get the financials.
But then, like, we don't have access to when checks are written, like with Chase and whatever. So that's why it should be like two people signing off.
There's no checks being written from Chase.
What?
Caroline has gone over with the board about the checks from Chase. And we get those bank statements every month. That's how we do the financials.
Right,
You have to
there should
receive
be
those.
two people working on these positions as a check and balance.
Yeah.
How much money is it in the Chase account now?
With the president.
Yeah, the board agreed that they can have Alex or the vice president Jamani overlook the income like Graciela.
Okay, then that'll be two looking over it. But you're talking about like, if we're gonna transfer money from reserve to checking, it sounds like, Juliet is talking about having more than one board member review that, right?
Exactly, and writing checks and whatever.
So Graciela and Alex, and if Alex isn't available, then okay.
Could we hear from the president and the vice president as to what they see our future is going to be?
Or the secretary maybe that.
No, I'm talking about the president and the vice president.
Okay,
I'm not
is there
hearing you, I'm sorry.
any other owners that wanted to speak?
I just want to know, what is Gillette's position on the board?
She's a director at large.
Right.
Okay, so Porfirio's a director also?
I'm sorry, who?
Ophelia?
Yes, I just went over that. I let you
Well, I
guys know.
understand that, but you were, I'm not being rude, but you were talking really fast. Board of director, Porfirio is a board of director?
Yes, he's over
So
maintenance.
what's the difference between a board of director and director at large?
They all have, let me just say, that all the board members have one vote. It's just one vote each. It's just they have a title, president, vice president, secretary, and
I
treasurer.
understand, but besides their title, that there becomes, certain positions with the title, so what's?
So when I get work orders, I enter the work order and I send Mr. Porfirio or Alex a
I've got it
message
muted.
letting them know what work order
Over
I
here.
received.
Do you want to
But
talk?
they
Okay.
also
Do you wanna
receive
talk?
direct work orders at the property.
Okay, so, Porfirio's gonna be getting work orders,
Yes,
and Alex.
yes.
Okay, and then what does the director at large do?
But Randy, can you answer that question?
I've never heard of that
The-
position,
the
that's why I'm.
Director at large doesn't really have a specific, role. They're just, that's why they call them director at large. They're just another director.
They're
The reason
actually
why
the
we
ones
have-
that
We
find
always
it.
have, board of directors always have an odd number of board members, so
Right.
it helps prevent tie votes on boards of directors, so, that's how it works.
Can we make sure that all the board members, everyone, is included in the emails, decision-making, voting, meetings? Because Juliet was never advised, and she didn't have and doesn't have front steps, so therefore it's an issue. And my husband is here, would like to speak.
One thing I wanted to do, I wanted to hear from each of our board members and ask what they're going to do and what they have been doing. because
Randy,
you say they have a title, they got a job.
Randy, the board is ready to adjourn.
Yeah, I don't know that the board prepared to do all those extra reports tonight. Maybe they could do more of that next time.
Well, they never do it, and Porfino's gonna walk out in a heartbeat.
Yeah, we got a motion.
Alex, second. Graciela. all
Can
in favor?
can we know when the next meeting is going to be?
It'll be posted on Front Steps. Okay, so the meeting is adjourned at 7:58 PM.
How many people watch this meeting?
How many people total were there?
9 people, or 10 people.
You had 10 people total?
Yep, that's it. Because people are not aware.
Yeah, okay, well, thank you all for attending, appreciate it. Have a good night, okay? Good night.
Good night.